Okay. And keeping that in mind, I wanted to ask you because you recently launched a really interesting competition for architecture students in the kingdom, the Ecotecture competition, if I'm pronouncing it correctly, I think. Tell me a little bit about that, and how are you looking to involve the future generations of Saudi Arabia in the project?
And look, that's it's a great initiative. It came from an individual in the company, a local, who had the idea of why don't we engage some local architectural talent to come up with some of the designs for our project. Clearly, we've got the big luxury hotels. We've engaged some of the world's best designers. We have Kengo Kuma out of Japan, who's doing the Liam. We've got a lot of work with Foster and Partners. We've engaged Killer Design out of Dubai. We've engaged some, brilliant global talent. But, it's been difficult so far to really tap into talent in country. But here we are with the Coastal Village. The residential buildings are reasonably straightforward, architecturally. It's more about function than form. They're attractive buildings, but they won't make the front page of the world travel magazines. But here we have this heart of the coastal village it's got entertainment, it's got dining, it's got retail, it's got sport activity, leisure and fun places, entertainment for the people who are going to live here. Long-term community where people involved as building a project have gone there for the next 50 or 100 years on the coast of Saudi Arabia. So what is this? What is in this heart? And we've come up clearly with some ideas of what it could be, but we've not crystallized that. We've got time to build that. We're not in a hurry. It's a few years away before we need to complete the construction. So why don't we get out to the market? So it was formed by an individual in the company, immediately endorsed by the executive team is a great idea. And there's a reward for doing it. So there's a little bit of a price element to it to create a little bit of excitement in the market. It's certainly created a buzz. It's alive in social media, and it only just got launched a couple of days ago. But it certainly struck a chord with everybody and excited all the Saudi nationals in the company. We've got around 54% Saudis in the Red Sea Development Company, and they're all very excited to see, and they're all telling their friends and architects they know, why don't you take part? So there's another thing we could do. Monitoring, the number of Saudis who come into the project. We are engaging local consultants for certain elements, not necessarily the big signature architect piece, but we've got engineers, we've got executive architects. We've got people dealing with all that authority liaison. We've got a lot of site supervision work, and Saud Consult are heavily engaged with us on the supervisory side of it. So more and more Saudis are coming in, not just into the Red Sea Development Company, but into our supply chain. 40,000 people eventually in this community, most of which we want to be Saudis, clearly. So we're all about trying to find opportunities for Saudis to join us. They have to compete. This isn't a given job because you're Saudi. It's given because you're talented Saudis, because you're good. No one wants to win a job just because they come from as a local. But we have got some Saudi educated, hardworking, industrious, very capable Saudis in the company. So if we clearly, I think it'll explode once we get into the hospitality and the operations side. The numbers associated with the Red Sea project suddenly exponentially explode. So, great times ahead, I think, for Saudis.
Fantastic. So, I think that we're coming to the end of our conversation then. I just wanted to ask you then, building upon what you've just said about, engaging the Saudi population on the project, both now and in the future. I wanted to ask you, how do you think these tourism mega projects, and obviously starting with the Red Sea project, how do you expect them to have an impact in changing global perceptions of Saudi Arabia, both as a country and also moving it away from it being, perceived as an oil-based economy, and changing the cultural and social landscape for the country?
Yeah, look, good question. I think as I mentioned earlier, that the target, the 2030 vision, is to have 10% of GDP driven by tourism. So 1 in 10 Saudi workers will be in the tourism industry. I think at the moment it's around 1 in 3, which is really around the religious tourism, which is quite different from what we're pioneering. The Red Sea project is its type. It's the first open to the public, the first time to attract. I have a sense, I've been in Saudi Arabia since 2017. I've been visiting on and off over the last 10 years on different projects. But, it feels like, Saudi's lifting its veil. There's the old perceptions of Saudi Arabia. I think people are going to be shocked when they eventually come and experience, shocked by the natural geography and beauty of the place. Probably a Western perspective might be it's all desert. It's all sand dunes and desert. But you come out and you see on East Coast and different parts of Saudi Arabia. Clearly, I mean, it's nearly the size of Europe. It's got this massive diversity of geography, of terrain, of weather conditions across the country. There's areas that can be very green, and it rains often. I think people are going to see a new Saudi Arabia. It might be a Saudi Arabia people knew back in the early 1970s when it was much more open to the global world. But we've seen changes in social norms almost repeatedly. It's almost every month or 2 months there's something changed. And I know when Boston Consulting Group did a lot of strategy work on the Red Sea project, late 16 up to the middle of 2017, there was a sort of a tick list of all the things that a global tourist would expect to get offer. Later, ladies driving cars, cinemas open, and there's maybe 150, 200 boxes. You can always go back to that slide in their deck now and start crossing them out. Well, that's already happened. That's already Saudi Arabia. That's in the base economy, as we'd call it. That's now the norm in Saudi. So you're seeing this huge liberalization going on. So it's a massive, exciting thing to see. You're seeing changes all around you on such a regular basis. And here's an acceleration of that for a tourist destination. We're able to take that even further. We're able to push those boundaries even further. The special economic zone is the enabler to make that happen. But you're starting to see this close-up of the base economy with the ideals of a special economic zone. So I think people are going to be amazingly surprised when there's a full release of what we're building. We don't want to release that too early. It's not about standing tall and failing. It's about having this ready, close to ready, and then revealing more and more as we close up on the end of 22, and there'll be this sudden awareness. I think it's going to startle people. They're really going to wonder where it is. They're not going to believe it's Saudi Arabia. They're going to be really taken aback. Schools of dolphins swimming in the sea, probably the top 4 coral sites in the entire world, with some absolutely astonishing sites below water. Naturally beautiful coastline that's uninhabited. It just goes on as you go into we've probably not explored, clearly we haven't explored 28,000 square kilometers, but each time we go inland, new destinations we could develop. It's staggering what's available. So I think, this gradual reveal as we build up the attention, the excitement to the opening in 22 is going to, I think it's going to take people aback around the world. And clearly, we have a lot of sister projects with Neom, Qadir, with Amala, with Alula, and others who've all got a strong hospitality content as well, maybe not fully dedicated, with one exception, to hospitality. But, it's this whole field. It's not just the Red Sea projects, it's the whole Red Sea coastline that is going to be, you can hop between maybe 5 days in the Red Sea, go inland and see Madin Salah, which is truly extraordinary, at Alula, and then go and see the start of this new city of Neom. So, I think it's going to be an incredibly exciting time as it builds up, but it's going to be a lot more fun to reveal it as it's almost there, starting take shape and more imagery just come to the world. I think it surprised Saudis as well, not just travelers. I think Saudis themselves, we've shown that people have joined us and people have shown imagery too, have been quite shocked at the beauty of the place.
Fantastic. Well, I think that's a perfect note to end this conversation. Thank you so much for taking the time out to be with us today. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you, and good luck with the project. And I'm sure there's plenty more that we'll be hearing about soon.
Thank you again. A pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you.